You are listening to the Fuerte Network.
Coming to you from a state of clowns.
I'm Dominic.
I'm Danny.
The state legislature is in session. In Arizona, we've got issues.
Recently, our partners at Progress Arizona held the second most ridiculous circus to take place at the Arizona Capitol, next to the actual legislature going on in the building itself.
Our executive director, Senya Arona, put together a performance arts action with a stilt walker, and the stilt walker was batting away votes the way that the legislators want to do with these new laws that they're trying to use to attack our freedom to vote.
Let's take a look.
In 2020, Arizona had the highest voter turnout in its history because of vote centers, vote by mail, and online voter registration. Yeah!
We had the highest turnout ever, and that's why they're trying to attack our freedom to vote right now.
Now I'm going to go ahead and cast my ballot with these convenient options.
Excuse me. This signature does not match your others. You cannot vote.
You didn't even compare them.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to pass these laws with these, crazy...
You are at the wrong voting center.
But if this is...
Wrong!
I can vote at all of them.
Wrong!
Let her
Let me see that. Take up the leg. There's no photo ID mailed with this mail-in ballot.
But I don't need to.
It is rejected.
What?
This right here is one of the things that we want to harp on, because getting all these extra steps, putting in your information, would you want to mail your driver's license in an envelope to whoever's going to be getting these votes right there? It's personal information that is being taken from us in order to sham up everything that is election fraud going on in the state.
Mm-hmm. And privacy aside, adding that extra step of having to go down to Kinko's or whatever, unless you have a printer in your house. But who in our community has a working printer in their house, with ink, right? Everyone has the printer without ink, but having to print up a piece of paper with your ID on it, that's going to stop a lot of people in our community from voting. This is a clear attempt at stopping our community from voting. All right, let's see what happens next.
Thank you. I'm going to do it.
Hey! Don't take one step closer. Listen. Let me see that. I am from the legislature, and you have been removed from the voter rolls.
Another thing trying to do is remove everyone from the voter rolls.
And for those of us that don't know what voter rolls are, can you explain what that is?
Well, there's two levels to this. There are laws that they're trying to pass there's a law they already passed last year that got rid of the permanent early voter list, right? Mm-hmm. So now we have this not permanent early voting list, and they're trying to pass even more laws to have way more excuses to remove people from the early voting list. That means you're no longer going to get a ballot in the mail without having to request it. They're even trying to pass a law that you would have to have an excuse to request it, as opposed to what we've been doing for the last 20 years in this state of having early voting for all, which has helped Republicans just as much as Democrats. It's helped independents, it's helped everybody be able to vote, especially the folks in our rural counties and our huge elderly population. So yeah, they're just trying to do this because they know the less people that vote, the easier it is for them to win. Because when more people vote, the more the people's candidates win.
And I'm glad you brought that up with people in the rural communities, because most of us live in the metropolitan area, whether it be Phoenix, Glendale, Chandler, Mesa, everywhere that is within walking distance of a mailbox. Not everyone has that luxury. Some people have to drive miles in order to get to the nearest mailbox. Right. And to take away those early days where they can have that window to do it, that is just trying to eliminate their vote in this thinly veiled, convoluted plan to suppress their vote once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be easier to let the legislature handle this.
I'm sure it would.
The legislature trying to choose their voters.
If the legislature passes the bills that they want, your right to vote by mail will be taken away. When voters have convenient options to cast their vote, our voices are heard. But what happens when those options are taken away?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to have a hike.
Doesn't matter what the legislature does. They're not going to stop us. We will do everything that we can. Woo! The Big Light Caucus admits to doing everything they can to suppress our vote. They're doing this because they know that we are standing on the shoulders of giants. They are afraid of our power, and they are afraid of the strength of our vote. The fight for voting rights impacts all of us. Every issue is touched by voting rights. We want the freedom to vote without intimidation. We want the freedom to vote no matter our color. We want the freedom to vote no matter our background. We want vote by mail. We want vote centers. We want our voice to be heard. We want every vote to count. Yeah. I can't do this alone. It's gonna take all of us. We can take the legislature and their bad bills down together. So repeat after me. I believe. No matter our color. No matter our background. No matter our zip code. Every Arizonan. Has the right to the ballot and the right to the freedom to vote. Nothing the legislature does can stand in our way. I believe that we will win. 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 I believe that we will win.
You might be asking yourself, why is it such a circus at the Capitol? Because the Big Life supporters have proposed over 100 bills attacking our freedom to vote. Like one example is the HB 2289. We need to stop HB 2289. It's the solution for conspiracy crazy people. They cause a bunch of people to doubt stuff by spreading lies and then come up with a bill to address these people's feelings. We believe in the truth. And the truth is that the rumors and lies and the people that are spreading them should get thrown out of office. And our friends at the League of Women Voters have helped us get organized to take a stand against HB 2289. I want us to check out the video that they prepared for us.
The League of Women Voters has the mission of protecting the right of citizens in Arizona to vote, and we communicate a great threat to this right with House Bill 2289. HB 2289 is written to eliminate voting by mail. It would limit voting to being in person only on Election Day. It would discard all votes counted 24 hours after Election Day. It would eliminate the use of technology, causing an increase in the electoral cost and consequently increasing taxes.
Eliminating voting by mail, period. So those rural folks we were just talking about that would have to drive far to get to a mailbox, now we're asking them to drive sometimes over 50 miles to a polling place on Election Day, which is a Tuesday, which not every working class person can do, and then have to wait in enormous lines to vote. That is unreasonable when we've had the freedom to vote by mail for decades.
And then that third part is also very important. All votes counted after 24 hours will be discarded. We're talking about these same people who are just barely going to make it into the line by 7 o'clock and wait maybe an hour, 2 hours to be able to cast their vote.
Right.
Trust that those polls are going to get to the counting places in time, and for them to only have at most 12 hours to count every single vote that these people try to go. And after that, as a cutoff, everything else goes into the dumpster fire,
which is just straight up disenfranchisement, because everybody who's followed elections for the last 20 years knows that it is a normal, every single election occurrence that it takes at least a week or two to count all the votes, right? And then if a vote is really close, that'll trigger a recount. So this is trying to disenfranchise all the folks who won't get voted in that amount of time. And they're trying to eliminate technology, which means every vote will be paper, which means that every vote will have to be hand counted, tabulated that way. Like, it'll cost us a fortune, and it'll disenfranchise our community.
Go through 4 stages, and in each one you can oppose in person, by calling, or going online.
So this is an important slide. It's the stages of the bill, right? So the state government committee hearing, the rules committee hearing, the Senate votes, and then it gets signed by the governor. So we have to stop the bill before it gets to the governor's desk, right? So where we're at right now, I think it's passed out of the rules committee somehow, even though their own people said it was unconstitutional. I guess they want to let the courts decide, which is, to me, just idiocracy. We need to contact our senators and tell them we won't stand for our freedom to vote to get attacked this way.
We invite you to demonstrate your opposition in person this Monday, March 21st at 1:30 p.m. at the Capitol, located at 1700 West Washington Street in Phoenix, Arizona. We urge you to contact the 7 senators of the government committee hearing by phone and email. For more information, follow us on Twitter at LWVAZ or on our website at lwvaz.org, united in defending our right to vote.
This past Monday, our very own Xenia Orona was in one of these committee hearings, and the community came out at large and responded. So definitely packed the house, and let's go ahead and see what Xenia had to live through this committee hearing.
All right, so we're back at the Capitol again. We're here to fight another bad voting rights bill. I don't know when the legislature is going to quit.
This is an unnecessary barrier. I am a voter. I have been voting on an early voting list because it's convenient, safe, and secure.
Madam Chair, committee. My name is Brent Whiting. I'm with Tomorrow We Vote Action, a nonprofit here in the Valley. And I wanted to make sure that I stated no on SB 2889. Now, Mr. Fillmore, I'm sure this bill means a lot to him. And I would have to say, when he had stated that he wants to get back to 1958 style of voting, this is it. This is pretty much a Jim Crow law that is taking voting and is suppressing it back. Thank you. Now, my parents, my dad died in 92, my mom is 85. I'm sure that her experience in voting in 1965, 1958 is a lot different from his, or a lot of people on this side's parents. Now, when we wind up looking at what we're trying to take away from people instead of what we're trying to add, we're going to create a system of chaos. Now, over in Texas, we have all these voting laws that are kind of similar to what we're trying to do here. It's almost like each state is trying to be worse than the next. And what we're doing here is, there were 25,000 votes that have been tossed out. You know this, right? Everyone here knows this. 25,000 or 23,000 votes that have been tossed out in the last primary. Now, technology.
So the bills that we were fighting in committee the other day wound up going through committee and are on their way through the legislature and could be on the governor's desk by tomorrow morning. These bills damage how elections are run in Arizona. They completely change it and remove a bunch of the accessible, safe, and secure options that Arizonans have had access to since before I was voting, that's for sure. But these bills also wind up impacting older voters, voters with disabilities, working class families, rural Arizonans, tribal voters. basically anybody who doesn't have a secure job and can take time off to go vote in person, they will be impacted by these bills. And I don't need to tell y'all that the majority of Arizona, and almost 80% of us, vote either early in person or early by mail. So what we can do is that we can reach out to Governor Ducey. I'm going to put the number on the screen and call him, bombard him, tell him, hey, we don't want this.
This has been Season 3, Episode 3 of We've Got Issues, a Fuerte Network production in association with Frecuencia Alterna. You can follow these and other issues and attacks on our community by following us on social media under Fuerte AZ. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere else, and of course by subscribing to our YouTube channel, The Fuerte Network.
Special thanks to Progress Arizona for organizing the circus. Thank you to Jay Ruby, Sylvan Sarton, and Senia Arona for writing and performing the Stilt Walker performance action. And thank you to the League of Women Voters for organizing us to stop HB 2289.
Today's episode was hosted by Danny Orona and Dominique Medina, written and produced by Danny, Zenia Orona, and Dom Medina, graphics by Zenia Orona, editing by Danny Orona, and music by Dominique Medina.
Thoughts and opinions expressed by We've Got Issues do not necessarily represent those of the Fuerte Arts Movement.